Off by introducing myself. So my name is Lyndon Sommert. I'm with the Alberta real estate team and EXP Realty. I have been in a realtor for now almost 31 years. Seen a lot of things in the marketplace, that's for sure. And I'm very excited to share with you the 2024 market and what's going to be happening. It's the forecast. So luckily, earlier today, I was at the real estate board's forecast, and we had people basically from all over Canada come and speak, and I was able to get some notes from there. Not that I need them, because I know exactly what's happening within the marketplace, but I've got a few notes here. I'm going to let you guys hear what I heard this morning, and I will tell you this, at 30 years of going to the annual forecast, this is probably one of the most exciting ones that ever came to. The other one that was so exciting was 2007, but nobody knew what was going to happen in 2007 when that happened. Does anybody remember the market in 2006, 2007? Anybody old enough to know what happened in the 2006, 2007 market? Well, I do. And I will tell you, it was incredible because basically in a matter of months, the market completely spiked upwards. In fact, a lot of properties doubled in value during that time in about a year or two. So realistically, it actually made millionaires pretty much within 12-month period. And this year is looking somewhat similar. Now, nobody's saying that those sorts of numbers are going to happen. Of course, back in 2006, 2007, the average price was approximately $170,000 average. So you can see how easy it was to double. So today's where we're at, 370,000 or whatever it is, it's not going to double, but we are going to see some really significant things. So I'm going to just share a few notes that I got today with everyone, and then I will add lib to it afterwards. So thank you very much for everybody coming. All right, so investors in Edmonton have been waiting for this for a long time. It was just so neat talking to all the agents and just feeling the buzz because basically December 2023 was the busiest December on record in Edmonton in the number of sales. Pretty exciting stuff. So finally the stars are aligning for a boom. We thought roughly 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, that we hit that boom because it was right after COVID. And everybody just sort of jumped out of their homes and they started buying, and it was about a 3-month buying spree, and it just the taps sort of shut off. The stars weren't quite aligned. But this information I'm sharing with you guys here is available from the computer god or goddess called Google. So if you ever want any information about this, you could just go there and find all this stuff. It's all factual information that I get to share with you guys. And so some of Edmonton's top real estate investors, the Realtors Association of Edmonton, the Canadian Real Estate Association, the Minister of Alberta of the Alberta Treasury Board was there today, and the Deputy City Manager as well was there. And so if you take a look at that lineup of people, they all were saying the same thing. So obviously something really exciting is happening. So here's what they said. There was an article in the Toronto Star the other day, and I just love this. The fellow that came from the Canadian Real Estate Association shared this, and he's traveling across Canada right now. He said this in the Toronto Star. He said, interest rates are killing the Canadian real estate market right now, but Alberta didn't get the memo. That's what's happening right now. So the forecast numbers in 2023 were all low. So when they last year made the forecast, it increased in every category that they thought. In December 2023, like I said, it was the highest sales in December on record, and January is on record. It's lining up halfway through to also be the busiest January on record. So things are starting to align. Home sales are predicted to be up 11% over last year. Alberta's biggest gain will be in 2025. So it's starting right now in 2024, but the biggest gains are actually still coming. So it looks like we're going to be in about a 2-year cycle here. So for anybody looking at buying, obviously this is a great time to buy. There are right now 10,000 people moving to Edmonton every quarter. That's an amazing number. In fact, those numbers haven't hit since 1970, that sort of positive migration. So that's another factor that's happening. By the end of the first quarter in Edmonton, it will turn from a balanced market. We're currently in a balanced market. So when Edmonton hits about, it's roughly around 4,000 to 5,000 listings, we're considered a balanced market. What that means is it's even for buyers and it's even for sellers. So what happens is, as soon as the number of buyers go up and the number of sellers go down, that turns into a seller's market. What happens in a seller's market to prices? They go up, right? So there's less homes and more buyers out there. So we're sliding, they say, between the first and the second quarter of this year, we're going to be sliding into a seller's market. So nobody knows when that's going to happen. I will never forget in 2007, in February, and I believe it was February 10th in my memory, where the taps just turned on. And it was just bedlam. It was nuts for about a year and a half. It was multiple offers on almost every single home. Now, if we take a look at those numbers back then, we certainly have more listings today than we had back then. But also the number of sales back then was about 12 to 13,000 sales per year at that time. Right now we're at about 22,000 sales per year. So, and we're sitting at around 4,000 rough listings happening. So, okay, so condos will have the biggest increase in sales, the lower end. And why is that? Because a lot of people moving here have started in the rental market. And of course they're sliding into the condos and the lower priced homes. Of course, what happens to those people that are in those condos? Well, they start sliding into the single family homes. So that's going to be happening as well. Rental vacancy is at its lowest rate in several decades right now. In fact, we're at probably between a 1% and a 2% vacancy rate now, which is really unheard of. And a little bit higher in the apartment, but we're talking about houses. When we start hitting that 1% market, we know that we're in basically what's called a housing crisis right now. And that's really where the governments are at right now. They're under this housing crisis, and I'll get into that a little bit more. Rents are up close to approximately 15% since August. I heard somebody here today saying that, I think it was you, Richard, saying that people were looking to rent because their rent was just increased by $300 or $400. $300. And that is something in Alberta. They don't quite have the same laws on increasing rents as much as the rest of the country. So we're going to see that. And people are going, oh man, what are we going to do? But if you actually take a look at that, Edmonton's costs and rents are actually some of the lowest in the country, certainly for major cities. So I was talking to somebody today, and I'm like, well, yeah, we're just used to what we're used to. You know, we have to catch up, and that's exactly what's happening. We're catching up. Okay, so Alberta has after tax. This is an interesting stat. After tax, Alberta has the largest after tax income in the country per person. After tax income in the country. So what does that mean? There's money here. People have money. And why is that? Why? Because it's affordable here. People are here. What's happening to the people from Ontario moving here? What do they have when they sell their properties?
Cash money.
Lots of money. Okay? So land values in Edmonton have gone up. Why? One of the biggest reasons land values have gone up is because of the zoning bylaw changes. It was such an incredible speaker we had up there from the city talking about the zoning changes. Is anybody here aware of the zoning changes that have happened? Okay, just to share with you. So there is a housing crisis, which basically means we need housing. And so the city went ahead and changed the zoning right across the board in Edmonton. So what that means is they said, well, instead of just being allowed to build a single family home, you're now allowed to build a small apartment building on regular lots. Anywhere. Blanketed across Edmonton. Why? Because there's a housing crisis and they need to get housing. Edmonton's one of the largest cities. It's actually the largest city in Canada. Does anybody know that person with land? Yeah, you don't think about that because of the Torontos and whatnot, but we can't grow out anymore. We have to grow up. And that's what they're doing. And that's why they changed the bylaws. And that's why the land values have increased, because now a lot of the builders and developers, they want to build small apartment buildings, of course, because of the rents being so high and the vacancy being so low. So that's another reason why it's happening. Something else that lets us know, our partners down south, Calgary, started the pricing boom about a year ago. And Edmonton is about a year behind on average. So that's another factor. We know exactly what's going to be happening because it's happening down south. We know that's going to be happening here. How do we know that? Because of history. And I have a chart here to show you guys in a moment. There's no other economic factors available left that say anything else is happening except for the last one, and that's called proof. We're just going to see the proof. Now, there's an amazing chart here, and I'm just going to show that right here. Out of everything that I've seen over the last year, this is one of the most amazing charts. So what this is it shows the Calgary compared to Edmonton pricing here. So where are we at? So if you take a look, like I said, Calgary's about a year ahead of us. So I made a little mark here. Right there is where they were. We're here at the same mark. Do you see how it follows the flow? Exactly. What happens from that spot on? It goes straight up. Okay? So when you add all this up, we know exactly what's going to be happening. Do we know the month it's going to happen? No, it's going to be gradual. 2024 is going to be an incredible year for Edmonton. Of course, interest rates are going to have some sort of impact. I believe there was some sort of announcement today by the Canadian government saying they're not quite ready to lower the interest rates yet. But we do know, and I have some other information here, that our neighbors down south, the United States, is going to be starting to lower their interest rates. Does Canada follow the US interest rates? You bet they do. So again, taking a look at all of the facts, this is nothing made up, and I can tell you from a realtor standpoint how exciting it's been basically over the last 3 or 4 months. Basically, it's been non-stop, and people are here, people are buying, and I cannot wait. So it's time to buy in Edmonton because it's our time. So there we are, our 2024 forecast. So.